Hello, hello, hello. So excited to be here with you this morning. Thank you for tuning in. We are not going to delay. We're going to get right into the nitty gritty because today we are talking about cultivating your growth mindset. Now, if you are just tuning in, this is your first time watching this webinar series, let me give you a little bit of a background. We are talking about developing self mastery over these 6 weeks because we want to help you. I want to help you unleash your full potential, achieve greatness, and ultimately feel like you are thriving in your life in every single area from work to your personal health to your relationships to your own goals and vision for your life. That being said, this week we are halfway through. It's very exciting to be working through this with each of you these 6 weeks. And today, cultivating growth mindset is what we are going to be focusing on. This is an aspect of self mastery. And just to give you a little bit of a background about where we've come from so far in these past 3 weeks. If you are tuning in for the very first time, this is your first time watching one of these, I want to encourage you to go back and watch the videos from week 1 and week 2. In week 1, we covered what is self mastery. We covered the impact of self mastery on your life and also went over the additional building blocks that make up self mastery. So that includes self awareness, emotional regulation, resilience, and consistent action. Then in week 2, we dove in a little bit deeper. We went deeper into self awareness and actually started talking about mindfulness. What does mindfulness mean in self mastery and why is it important? How do you develop these skills? How do you develop the skill of self awareness? How do you develop your skill of living mindfully throughout your day to day life? Because this is a practice. And then, last but not least, we obviously covered why these principles, why these building blocks make an impact on your success in life. And one thing we talked about last week, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it week 1 as well, success is your own definition. Success means something different to every single person. So when I am working one-on-one with clients or speaking to a room full of people, it's important to know that whatever your registration of success is, your definition, your interpretation of it is going to look different. It's going to be unique to you. So this is the principles, these are the foundations again of self mastery. And I want to encourage you to go back and watch those last few I don't know, would we call them episodes? Watch those last few webinar sessions because these are building on one another. Now, this brings us to this week, okay? Personal growth mindset. Now, having a growth mindset means that you are empowering yourself. It means that you're transforming through setbacks. Like setbacks are actually an opportunity for growth. And along the way, even though we may not always be enjoying it, we're going to talk about embracing the challenges that come with overcoming the hurdles in our life. Now, before I dive into how to cultivate a growth mindset, I would love to just give you a little more background. Let me introduce myself, okay? Uh, my name is Alexis Ray. I currently live in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I am a Colorado native with zero cold tolerance. I've lived in Scottsdale for coming up on 2 years, actually. And let me just share with you that the first 2 years have been a little rocky, okay? Coming out at the beginning of 2022, I was just starting to get back on my feet after the car accident. I went back to work and I actually went through a pretty intense breakup. The gentleman that I had been in the car accident with, we had proceeded to get engaged. So we went through an entire separation at the beginning of January 2022. And it really gave me the opportunity to sit in the moment and ask myself, what do I want now? Like, my career had just started over. The relationship that I had thought or planned was going to be a lifetime commitment ended, which at the moment, again, was very challenging. We're going to get into that in just a second. And what that led to was the opportunity for me to decide, what do I want to do next? What is my next thought going to be? And how am I going to respond to this set of circumstances that I never would have picked for myself? Now, this is just one experience of my life uh, that has provided an opportunity like this. I have also challenged, been challenged and overcame and continue to adapt to living with chronic illness. I actually have chronic migraine condition because of all of the brain injuries I've had in life. So, where I'm coming from when it comes to this growth mindset is lived experience. In addition to that, I've been working with coaches since I was about 15 years old. When I was 15, I was lucky enough to work with my first performance and life coach, and she helped me map out what I wanted my college basketball career to look like. She helped me map out what I wanted my high school basketball career to look like, and what I wanted my relationships to look like, what I wanted my personal interpretation of myself to look like. On top of that, I have been studying coaches, I have worked with a variety of mentors, and I have been coaching myself since, let me say that again. I have been a coach since I was about 15 and 16 years old. I started coaching basketball camps for youth sports organization in Northern Colorado. So, this that I'm about to share with you comes from over 15 years experience of what can happen and the power you can create in your life if you choose to focus on a growth, if you choose to foster your growth mindset, if that makes sense, if you choose to focus on your growth, no matter the circumstances that you're facing. So, with that little background, let's get into it. Okay. This quote is actually one that I just came across in the last week or so, but I feel like it resonates with what we're going to be talking about today because, as you can tell, let me let me tell you the secret that has led to my goal, and the strength lies solely in my tenacity. So the first thing here when it comes to self mastery and when it comes to your growth mindset, and I'm not even going to lie, we've talked about technical difficulties. I'm sorry, you have to give me a second here because my notes disappeared. And I want to make sure that I share with you in particularly. Whew, okay, now we're in business. So, empowering yourself, this is principle number one of today. Empowering yourself to believe in your ability to learn and grow. Having a growth mindset starts with you. It starts with you realizing that you have the power to control your thoughts. And one of the things we went over in week 2 was the mindset model. And the mindset model is made up of circumstance, thought, feelings, actions, and results. Now, again, go back and watch that and then come back here if you need to for all of this to start to make sense. But your growth mindset starts with you choosing your perspective. Okay. There are over 35,000 decisions you're going to make in a single day. And the amount of information that your brain is processing throughout the day far exceeds that 35,000 number of decision making. And your perception, the way you choose to view the world, is something that you can train. It's something that you can develop to be positive, to be optimistic, to believe in what's possible, and at the same time, to be realistic about the challenges of the circumstances that you're currently facing. And that is really where the magic of cultivating your growth mindset starts to happen. You are empowering yourself to believe in your own ability to overcome and thrive inside the circumstances that you've been dealt. Now, circumstances are just facts of life, okay? They are the things that are outside of your control. For example, I can't control the fact that I was in a car accident when I wasn't driving the car. I can't control the fact that someone decided to exit a relationship that I was kind of blindsided in. I can't control the fact that a company decided to lay me off and eliminate the entire position and department across the country 6 months after relocating, or not 6 months, excuse me, 6 weeks after relocating to a brand new state where I was dependent on this job. So, being able to take the circumstances and choose for yourself how you're going to perceive these set of situations and do something about it is the foundation of what a growth mindset is. That is how you empower yourself, is by recognizing that this choice of perception is yours. And last week I shared as well that your miracles in life come from shifting your perspective. And that actually comes from one of my root mentors, Marianne Williamson. I talk about her book all the time, A Return to Love. I talk about her teachings, her practices. Your miracles in life happen when you choose to shift your perspective about the circumstances that you're facing. This brings me to our next point when it comes to self mastery, or excuse me, when it comes to our growth mindset. And that is, no matter the setbacks, you can take these as stepping stones for success. Now, I mentioned basketball. I grew up playing basketball. I started playing basketball at the age of 12 years old. I stopped playing basketball at the age of 19 because of a career ending concussion. But actually, when I started playing at the age of 12, I was kind of late to the game. Basketball is unique in the sense that there is only 5 people on the court and there is no place to hide. It is a skills based sport, just like any other sport. Don't get me wrong, okay? But it's it's a small court. There's only 5 people on the court, and in order to be on the court, you have to have the set of skills that are required to participate in this game. And again, when I started at 12 years old, I was late to the game. There had been ladies that I was competing against to get onto these teams and competing for playtime that had years more experience. They had started playing when they were 6 years old. They had started playing when they were 8 years old. And I was just showing up, not really knowing the rules. I mean, I had a basic understanding, but what I had was effort. And throughout my time of being a basketball player, I'm sure you are familiar with this gentleman, Michael Jordan. He's one of the biggest inspirations um, of what it looks like to have a resilient growth mindset. And so I really love this quote from him that he's missed more than 9,000 shots in his career. He's lost almost 300 games, and 26 times he was trusted to take the game winning shot and he missed. He's failed over and over again in his life, and that is ultimately why he succeeds. So when we feel like we're failing, when we feel like we're in a set of circumstances that we truly don't think we're going to survive, or feel like they have left us so broken, this is your moment to again choose your perspective on these set of circumstances and to then get into action and do something about it. This is your greatest opportunity to create transformation in your life through this uncomfortable transition. These setbacks can be your stepping stones to become the person you want to be if you're willing to take it as an opportunity. Now, lastly, I am going to dive into what it looks like when we talk about embracing these challenges. Okay. And we're going to spend a little bit more time here. So, embracing these challenges with a resilient mindset and staying adaptable ultimately is what's going to let you create success in your life, regardless of the set of circumstances that you're in. Remembering the mindset model that we covered last week, circumstances are the facts of life that we cannot change. Your thoughts about your circumstances create your feelings. Your feelings then lead to your actions, and your actions then create the results of your life. That is the foundation, that is the application of cultivating a growth mindset. So when we are in a situation that feels challenging, whether you're living with a chronic health condition, whether you're currently in a career that doesn't feel like a fit for you anymore, and you're really not sure which step to take next. Maybe you feel like you have some relationship boundaries that you've been thinking about and you're worried about setting them because you don't want to hurt someone else's feelings. Embracing these everyday challenges of life with the perspective that you get to choose how and what you feel, do, and think about it is going to be what leads you to living in alignment with a growth mindset and ultimately having you be able to achieve the level of success that you're looking for based on your own definition. So, a growth mindset is something that is cultivated, it is something that you are able to practice every single day, and not every day is going to be easy. Not every day is going to be your strongest practice of a growth mindset. It's not supposed to be. But when we get knocked off course in life, or we feel like we're getting redirected, being challenged, that space between where you want to be and the uncomfortable experience you're having is actually how you learn and begin to know what your center and true line is. If you were always in alignment, if you always had a perfect set of circumstances, you would never know when things were going your way or not going your way. If you were always happy, you would never know that you were happy unless you had a change in experience at some point in time that taught you when you were happy. And that is the power of a growth mindset. That is being able to get knocked off course, recognize the uncomfortability of the challenge that you're currently facing, and then figure out the steps to be able to get back to the ideal action you want to be taking in your life. And those actions are going to be the things that move you forward, move you to your next season of life. So, to give you a little bit continuation background, how did I go from the beginning of 2022 being in a situation where I was starting a new job? I completely had to pivot what I was doing for work because of my cognitive challenges from the sixth concussion that I sustained in the car accident in 2021. I was coming out of a broken relationship that wasn't really the healthiest, and I had a lot of healing and self reflection to do with that, to now being at the point 2 years later, overcoming another challenge of chronic health conditions. And here is the secret. Okay. This is how you're going to get there. And next week we're going to talk about SMART goals. We're going to talk about the actions that you take. Again, all of these pieces of this webinar series are building on one another. Next week is going to be about the goals and the actions. This is what I want you to take away today. So if this is the one thing you hear, let it be this: your power within growth, within fostering your growth mindset to create transformation in your life, exists in directional surrender. What that means is all you need to have is some type of point, goal, desired outcome in mind, and you are so committed to creating that outcome, to making that come to life in your life, that you are not willing to let anything stop you. Now, I'm a big believer in consistent action over the term of discipline. I think things should be happening within ease. I also believe that you need to have a balance between how challenging you make something for yourself. Like, it doesn't have to be hard. That's what I'm trying to say. Trying to give you a little caveat here. But getting back to the point, directional surrender means that you have something, an outcome that you want to create in your life. And you take baby steps every single day, or at least the majority days of the week. So that could just be 4 out of 7 days, 4 days on, 3 days off, if you're trying to give yourself something, but you need to be doing it the majority of the time. Take one small action that's going to lead you or that you believe is going to lead you to your goal. Now, as an entrepreneur, as someone who is living with chronic health challenges, I don't want to tell you that you're going to know exactly the right steps to take right off the bat. Learning this comes either through experience, where you're trialing and erring all by yourself, or you get tapped into a community, you find a mentor, you connect with a coach, someone that is already at that end point that you're looking to create in your life, and then they show you how to get there faster. That's the other choice. You either can figure it out on your own through trial and error, which I have done that personally. It takes a little bit longer, it can be a little bit more uncomfortable, and it's also a very important part of this journey because again, that is where your growth comes from. Fail fast, fail forward. And then the flip side of this is getting into a community, getting a coach, meeting with people frequently who are already doing the things you want to be doing. So, directional surrender is the secret sauce to creating success through ulta through utilization of your growth mindset. I hope you have enjoyed today's webinar session. Next week, we are going to be talking about the goal setting, SMART goals. How do you get into consistent action so that you can create the success you're looking for in life? Again, your actions come from your feelings come from your thoughts about the circumstances, and you get to choose all of this. You have the opportunity to choose this for your life. Which, if you're looking for any type of powerhouse, any type of inspiration, any type of moment to recognize your own true individual power, I want you to just be able to take a moment and say, yeah, I can choose how I see this. I can choose how and what I'm going to feel about this. And I am going to choose how I want to act in accordance with the outcome that I'm looking to create in my life. If you have any questions, if you're looking to connect, you can find me on Instagram at missalexisray.com. That's probably going to be the best way to get in touch with me. Also, YouTube, LinkedIn, I'm all over the place. I look forward to coming back next week. Again, we're halfway through. This has been an exciting adventure. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you. If this is something that if there is something you took away from today, please send me a message, put a comment on this post. I would love to hear from you. What's resonating with you? What do you want to apply in your own life? And what isn't quite clear yet? What do you still need help understanding? Because I want to help you create the transformation through the transitions you're going through so that you can feel like you have success in your life and not just feel it, but live it. Until next time, you beautiful heart and soul, I hope you remember that life is beautiful and you create the magic. Have a good one.